Hey guys, what's up? GreenMachineSam back with another video, and today we have week 4, my little review slash rant slash what I'm seeing for the Chicago Bears. We took on the LA Rams. Of course, the team looked a little bit better. We did get the W. The team is finally taking shape. I don't know how good this team is and what our ceiling is, but the team is looking better. It's not quite at its peak yet, but it is looking better. I will say one thing is the LA Rams were really banged up with injuries. You know, they're missing their top 2 receivers. They're missing their starting tight end. I know Tyler Higbee hasn't played this season, but you know what I'm saying. They're missing a lot of pieces. I think they're missing one of their offensive linemen too, so they had to reshuffle things, if not 2 of their offensive linemen. They're definitely missing pieces, right? And then they're still getting used to not having Aaron Donald on the field and stuff like that. So as much as I want to sit here and say like, oh, hey, we went out and looked good, you do have to take it with a grain of salt. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that you can't take this victory as is, because you just have to play the people that are in front of you. It's not your fault that somebody else is injured, right? But the team is definitely looking better, and that is a good thing to say. The offense just looked more comfortable. Caleb looked even more comfortable in the pocket. Sometimes it did feel like he was almost too comfortable in the pocket, or being told to stay in the pocket, not try to make those scramble plays that he had been. I understand, you know, they maybe had to have a sit down and be like, hey, these are the best athletes in the world. You're not going to be able to beat everybody. You're not going to be able to just out scramble people like you did in college. And I'm well aware of that. I am. But he does look better. He looks more comfortable in the pocket. He's looking more willing to stay there and take hits and also deliver some very good balls, even though he knows he's going to get hit. The run game in total just looks very good right now. I don't know if it's just the offensive line combination or if it's the inconsistent and inexperienced D-line of the Rams. I don't know. But DeAndre Swift looks very good. Yes, I get that he isn't the best back in the league, and I still have my reservations about him and what I think of him. But he looked pretty good in both the run and pass game. I'm hoping to see even more from him as the season goes on. I do want to see Roschon Johnson more involved. 7 for 26 is relatively good. You know, it's under that 4-yard mark. But I want to see, you know, when we don't have the speed to really match and get to those outside edges, I would love to see Roschon Johnson a little bit more. I would love to see this offensive line just be able to use their weight and kind of lean on those defensive lines, you know, especially in the modern NFL, where a lot of teams are going into those nickel looks, those 4-2-5 looks. I would like to see the offensive line just be able to put their weight behind them and kind of just try to move guys and run a little bit more power football than anything. So I would hope to see Roschon Johnson getting a little bit more involved as the weeks go on and once the weather starts to really turn, because in Chicago it does get pretty terrible. Khalil Herbert must have fucked Matt Eberflus's wife because he's no longer part of the offense. I understand, you know, especially if they don't plan on re-signing him, there's no real reason to look at him over a guy like Roschon Johnson and DeAndre Swift, who you've just drafted and paid. He's just not involved. I understand the offense hasn't quite been at that full capacity yet. So, you know, you were maybe hoping to get Khalil Herbert involved in certain situations, and we just haven't been in those situations, which is totally fine. But it does suck not seeing him, as I was one of the big believers in him when David Montgomery was supposed to be leaving Chicago. I was like, this is Khalil Herbert time. Offensive line, like I said, looks better, but it is against an inconsistent and inexperienced D-line. So, you know, they should beat them a little bit better. They're going to be a little bit more veteran, a little bit more knowledge, a little bit more time in the game. I'm not trying to hold that against them. I'm just saying, from what I've seen, it was kind of supposed to happen, right? They definitely looked better, per se. I don't know if they looked great or good, but they definitely did play better. The defense is still playing great, of course. The defense is really flying around the field, which I very much enjoy. They look really locked in and engaged right now, and it looks like they are building confidence in that offense. And then, of course, with Torrey Taylor doing his thing and just fucking booming the ball down the field, you know, when Torrey Taylor is able to flip field position, and you can honestly sit there and go, oh, hey, he flipped the fucking field position. We have a good chance to go get a stop here and not really worry about it. I will say it does give their defense a little bit more confidence. The defensive line rotation is looking good and becoming solid. I just kind of wish we had a little bit more success in the pass rush. I know we had 3 sacks this most recent week. I do want to see more from the defensive line. I think once Zach Pickens is back, though, I think we'll see a little bit better. Taking pressure off of Billings and Dex and not really having to worry on a third D tackle. I think Chris Williams is the guy right now. So once we do have Pickens back, whenever he does end up becoming healthy, that should help out on that interior D-line especially. One thing I do want to say is Jaquan, when Jaquan Brisker is hot, he is a beast and probably a top 15 safety in the league. It's just he's not always engaged and ready to go. It seems like I don't know what the issue is. I don't know if he gets in his own head. I don't want to say he just plays bad, right? He could hold himself up to such a high standard that when he does play and when he misses something or when he doesn't play up to his level, maybe it does affect him. Maybe it affects him a little bit. I definitely think there could be that situation where, he holds himself to such a high level that when he doesn't play to that level, it kind of affects him just mentally. Like I said, I don't want to say anything too bad about him. He's definitely playing out of his mind this season. I think he's playing very, very good. But like I said, it just seems like he sometimes does get in his own way. I'm not trying to be rude, just, like I said before, and this is something I probably should have started off the video with, is I do not hate any of these guys for who they are off the field. If I see something, if I think you're playing bad, if I want to say something about you as a football player, I'm going to say it. I'm not trying to be just mean and mean for no reason as well. If I say something, it's because that's what I'm seeing, right? I don't want to ever be disrespectful. I don't ever root against anybody. Just because I didn't like Mitchell Trubisky as a player when we drafted him didn't mean I didn't want him to succeed, and it doesn't mean I'm rooting against him. I'll always root for any player that's on the Bears. Whether you're on our team for a week, 2 weeks, 3 years, fucking 10 years, I'll root for you as long as I possibly can. Back to the defense, though. Good showcase, but the Rams were short-handed. It's something that we already talked about. Missing Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee. You're missing some pieces on that offensive line. Of course, you're going to have less, weapons. It's going to really, limit your play calling sheet and stuff like that. And hell, I think a guy that kind of played well for them, I think Tyler Johnson, I don't remember seeing a whole ton of him or much of him, to be fair. That's just one thing I will say. I didn't see a whole ton. I can go back to the stats real quick and see if I can see anything. Yeah, I didn't see him. Tyler Johnson, 0 catches, 1 target. So I don't know what happened to him. It seemed like he was playing very good. Jordan Whittington rarely stepped up. Tutu Atwell had a decent game. And DeMarcus Robinson still being a decent target for, of course, Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford always has had our number. Even on the Detroit Lions, he always had our number. But we definitely looked good. I'm not trying to take anything away from the win. I'm just saying there is room for improvement, especially against a team that was short-handed. I'll say that. Torrey Taylor is the true punt god. Holy fuck, he keeps flipping the field and making good. I did like the clip that came out that was like, hey, and he was talking to Caleb Williams. I don't remember if this, I don't know where the clip was from. I don't know if it was from like an earlier game or this game. But he was basically like, hey, what about this whole punting situation? Why are we punting so much? And he's like, hey, I understand. Like, I'm not trying to have that happen either. Looking ahead to the Panthers, the offensive line needs to look good against this pass rush. I don't think this pass rush is particularly great or good. So I will say we do need to look even better against the Panthers. I think the Panthers in general just aren't a very greatly built team. If you ask Panthers fans, they're going to say about the same thing. That doesn't mean, there aren't going to be hiccups, right? We're still a very young team. We're still a very inexperienced team. Let's just see some improvement, of course, in this game as well. Let's see a better offensive line. Let's see a better pass blocking offensive line. Let's see a better run blocking offensive line. Let's just look a little bit better. The defense, I would like to have a statement game. The Panthers offense just isn't very good. I think they need to come out and have a statement game, go shut these motherfuckers down, and really show the Panthers like, hey, you fucked up by trading up to go get Bryce Young. This is what you get type of situation. Overall, like I said, not a bad game. The offense definitely looks more capable and more, just in tune. They didn't have the greatest day in terms of, stats and statistics, but they still looked better than before. 24-18, of course, for our Bears. Like I said, improvement is the only thing we need at this point. Just everybody improving and getting along better and so we can get to a point where this team can truly start to take off. Like I said, I have high expectations this year just because I'm that way. I believe in our guys. There is a little bit of there's something in the back of my mind going, hey, give them time. This is going to take a while. This isn't a 1-year thing. Not many teams can turn around in 1 year. Not many teams can turn around in 2 years. Sometimes it does take a couple years to turn things around. Not every team, can build a dynasty in just a year or two. So I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna calm down a little bit. I'm not gonna worry as much about them. It's just the way I am, right? Of course. But with that being said, guys, if you guys did enjoy this video or any of the videos here on my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys do stick around and subscribe. I'll be back with more videos like this. I do have some stuff hopefully coming out over the next week or so. They're just longer videos, so they do take more time to edit down and get trimmed and stuff like that. But like I said, if you guys do enjoy these videos or any of the videos here on my channel, I would appreciate if you guys do stick around and subscribe, and I'll be back with more videos like this. But with that being said, I'm out. Peace.